Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, we talk with Dan Halstrom, CEO of the U.S. Meat Export Federation. He says there are more opportunities for U.S. protein in many parts of the world. We'll also have reports from the Kansas Soybean Commission and Kansas Department of Agriculture, and our weekly updates from the Kansas Livestock Association and Paragon Ag Advisors. The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Kansas Wheat Commission, leading in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online, kswheat.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future of Kansas corn. Online, kscorn.com. In agricultural news from agview.net, recent extreme weather conditions have impacted farmers and ranchers in Kansas. USDA has disaster assistance programs available to help agriculture producers recover after natural disasters like the floods and recent tornadoes. USDA Farm Service Agency, the Natural Resource Conservation Service, and Risk Management Agency offer programs that help producers recover losses, rehabilitate farms and ranches, as well as manage risk. FSA offers many programs to help producers, including the Livestock Indemnity Program, Emergency Assistance for Livestock, Honeybees, as well as Farm-Raised Fish Program, Emergency Forest Restoration Program, and the Tree Assistance Program. Producers located in counties receiving a primary or contiguous disaster designation are eligible for low-interest emergency loans to help them recover from production as well as some physical losses. The NRCS provides technical and financial assistance through the EQIP, the Environmental Quality Incentive Program, as well as other conservation programs helping producers recover and build resilience to better weather some future disasters. As well as the FSA Emergency Conservation Program provides funding and technical assistance for farmers and ranchers to rehabilitate farmland damaged by natural disasters. USDA offers a disaster assistance discovery tool that walks you through 5 questions, help you identify the personalized results of what the USDA disaster assistance programs can meet your needs. If you need more information, find out more. Contact your local USDA Service Center online, farmers.gov/recover. Well, Mike Day has been selected to lead K-State's Department of Animal Science and Industry beginning August 11th. For the last 4 years, Day served as Department of Animal Science at the University of Wyoming. He was on the faculty in the Department of Animal Science at The Ohio State University for more than 30 years, holding research and teaching appointments focused on reproductive physiology of beef cattle. The Department of Animal Science and Industry, the largest academic degree program on the campus of K-State, and it's one of the largest of its kind nationally. The department records the greatest research expenditure of any single academic department at K-State's Higher Education Research and Development Report to the National Science Foundation, topping $15 million annually. By the way, Day holds a Ph.D. and master's degree in animal science, an emphasis on reproductive physiology from the University of Nebraska. He attains his bachelor's degree in animal husbandry from the University of Missouri. And grain sorghum is one crop option that can provide opportunity to growers in regions impacted by this adverse weather during the planting season. As wet conditions persist for farmers across the U.S., producers calculating options as a major crop plant deadline looms need to keep the following considerations in mind when planting your grain sorghum. Well, it can be typically planted later than other crops. Sorghum is a lower risk option, specifically as it relates to seed costs. For example, sorghum seeds around $9 to $18 an acre, depending on the seeding rate, while corn seed typically costs around $55 to $110 an acre, depending on the seeding rate and traits. Harvest costs often lower as well. And from a demand standpoint, despite those ongoing negotiations and tariff restrictions with China, the U.S. has sold multiple vessels to China in the last month. Sorghum producer CEO Tim Luss said the demand and market signals offers optimism for global feed grain needs like sorghum. Growers should also consider that current guidance from USDA shows in order to collect that market facilitation program payment, you need to plant a program crop or alfalfa. That's Ag News. More coming up. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web, oldeseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. And Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. More at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
What if U.S. soybean oil were an industry sensation? If end users started asking for it by name? That future is here. The time is now. To meet customer demands, the Soybean Checkoff is investing in varieties that produce oil with increased functionality. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
We're joined now by Dan Halstrom, President and CEO of the U.S. Meat Export Federation. They were in Kansas City at their mid-year meeting. Dan, we know there are challenges, but we're still seeing some bright spots when it comes to still protein sales around the world.
Yeah, I think, Ken, you're exactly right. There are headwinds, but despite these headwinds, the basic supply and demand is very favorable for U.S. beef and pork globally. You look at first quarter results, beef was basically flat coming off of a record year, so given the headwinds, we're happy with that. Pork was down a bit, down 13% in value, and I attributed a lot of this to the tariffs, mainly in Mexico and in China.
A couple of things that recently that could mean good things, and that is Japan now opening up that market. It's been a long time, but some of those variety meats that aren't consumed here, that's going to have to help the bottom line.
Yeah, we're really excited about the over 30 months announcement here a few days ago to Japan. This has we've been working on this as an industry with Japan for years, and to finally get there is great. We estimate this is an opportunity for the U.S. beef industry of between $150 to $200 million a year in added value, incremental value. And you're exactly right. Beef variety meats are a big part of that. Specifically, mountain chain tripe, a delicacy item that's been out of the market now since 2003. And also beef tongues, of course, from the older animals. So this is good. This is going to be a direct shot at Australia's been supplying this segment, and now we're coming in with a product that quality-wise should be superior.
African swine fever has been one that has just really challenged the swine industry. There are people all over the board saying this is a great opportunity for the U.S. Some are saying not so fast. How is USMEF seeing that opportunity with the Chinese market?
Well, yeah, it's an opportunity and it's a threat at the same time. I would say the best way to summarize China in general and the ASF issue specifically is there's a lot of uncertainty here on exactly what it means. I think the easiest way to think about it is this is going to disrupt trade flows globally, not so much today on meat, but sometime in the future when this meat shortage hits China. Is it later this year? Is it early next year? No one knows. The other question is to what extent is consumption affected in these affected countries? It's not just China. You've got Russia, you've got Eastern Europe, you've got, of course, China, you've got Vietnam now. So it's becoming more of a global impact. Of course, China, being the largest hog herd in the world, is the one we're all focused on. So the uncertainty is hard to read exactly what's going to happen. But suffice it to say that there will be a shortage of protein in China at some point, exact timing to be determined.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. And AgView.net, covering news and views in the Beef Belt and Western Corn Belt. Reliable and relevant, AgView.net.
What if U.S. soybean oil were an industry sensation? If end users started asking for it by name? That future is here. The time is now. To meet customer demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in varieties that produce oil with increased functionality. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device. News and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News. A reliable and relevant source, AgView.net. Dan Halstrom with the U.S. Meat Export Federation is joining us, and also with some other announcements and some meetings going on. It seems like USMCA is getting closer. Talk about the importance of having that done to our two biggest trading partners, because that has a huge impact on sales just to the north to the south.
Yeah, North America is a key region for the U.S. in terms of pork and beef trade. Makes up roughly 40% of our volume, and just great trading partners. So a couple of points here that are important, I think. We had fantastic news late last week when the steel and aluminum tariffs were lifted, which then resulted in the lifting of the pork duties. The 20% duty on pork to Mexico was lifted Monday of this week. We started seeing product cross with zero duty. Fantastic news for the industry, because we've been hit hard on the value side into Mexico because of these duties. But that's just part of the story. Now the next step is that we need to move forward as an industry. The industry's focused on this for finalizing the USMCA, the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Free Trade Agreement. And this is vital going forward, because agriculture benefited in a big way from NAFTA, and USMCA will be the same. And you know, the product mix that we're looking at with North America is quite a bit different from Asia, so the two pair up perfectly. You get a lot of end cuts going to Mexico and Canada, you know, rounds and chucks, and on the pork side, you know, the hams. And whereas Asia tends to be more of a middle meat market with, I don't mean middle meats that we talk about, but like short plates and short ribs and chuck rolls and chuck ribs, you know, things like this. So, yeah, the importance of the North American market is monumental for our industry.
Talk briefly about Southeast Asia. It seems like that's kind of the new great frontier, even though we've been there, but those opportunities still seem to be untapped, many of them. Yeah,
Southeast Asia, as a lot of the world, we're seeing per capita consumption grow in a lot of these markets, Vietnam, Philippines, Singapore, etc. And that's only going to continue as the middle class continues to emerge. So this is the opportunity for the world, and specifically, hopefully, U.S. product to supply there. Now, it tends to be, in the early stages of market development, tends to be very price conscious. But one of the things that USMEF is working on with our industry partners is we're trying to teach them about U.S. products. You don't need to be the cheapest. We have high-quality beef with a superior taste, but it might cost a little bit more. So we're trying to differentiate our products, and this is the opportunity going forward, is to try to develop that commodity market into a little more of a value-added market, and it'll come. It will come.
Dan Halstrom, President and CEO of U.S. Export Federation, is joining us. Stay with us. More in just a moment.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
You don't have to be a farmer or rancher to become a Kansas Farm Bureau member. Anyone can join. As a member, you'll get discounts on things like hotels and entertainment, health and wellness services, cell phone plans, and more. You'll also strengthen the lives of your fellow Kansans and help build strong, prosperous communities through agriculture advocacy and education. Join us today. Visit kfb.org/join to learn more.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Renewable fuels remain important assets to drive feed grains demand and improve prospects for farm profitability. Recognizing the many benefits biofuels provide to the Kansas economy, agricultural industry, energy consumers, and environment, the governor proclaimed the week of May 26 as Biofuels Week. Biofuels offer clean-burning, economical choices for fuel consumers and provide valuable co-products for the livestock industry in the forms of soybean meal and distillers' dried grains. Biodiesel adds 63 cents per bushel to the value of Kansas soybeans. A state-of-the-art biodiesel plant that will produce 60 million gallons annually is under construction in Wichita. America's first and only energy source to earn the title of Advanced Biofuel from the Environmental Protection Agency, biodiesel can be used in almost any diesel engine without modifications in blends of up to 20%. Last year, biodiesel production used the oil from 660 million bushels of soybeans, which was 35% of the U.S. soybean oil supply. The Kansas Soybean Commission and Association belong to the coalition behind the statewide recognition. The partner organizations promoted Biofuels Week through social media using the KS Biofuels hashtag and shared information with news outlets and stakeholders across the state.
What does a brighter, more sustainable future look like in our cities and towns, and how do we get there? When New York needed an alternative fuel source to reduce carbon emissions, the city found what it needed in biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device. News and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News, a reliable and relevant source. agview.net.
Every day, farmers and ranchers see the beauty of Kansas agriculture surrounding them while they work to bring quality products to our table. That beauty can't be captured with a camera, but we encourage you to try in the Kansas Department of Agriculture's annual photo contest. I'm Heather Lansdowne, Director of Communications at KDA, and I'm excited to share this year's photo contest categories, which were selected to promote different aspects of Kansas agriculture: barns and farmsteads, animals in agriculture, Farm Fresh, Water and Agriculture, and Country Livin' categories will showcase the many places and ways we experience agriculture across the state of Kansas. From the animals grazing in the Flint Hills, to the crops across the Western Plains, and from the colorful farmers markets and thriving agribusinesses in communities across the state, to the critical role water plays in that Kansas agriculture. In addition, there's a separate youth division for young photographers under age 19. Entries for the photo contest are being accepted from now through August 2nd. In mid-August, all the entries will be posted on KDA's social media sites. Winners of the KDA photo contest will be chosen by votes on social media platforms and by leaders in Kansas agriculture. Winners in each category will receive prizes, and a few of the top photographs will be selected to be displayed in the KDA building in Manhattan. Guidelines for the contest can be found at agriculture.ks.gov/photocontest. I look forward to seeing this year's entries and to finding ways KDA can share the photos which best capture the categories all year long as we tell the story of Kansas agriculture.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil, and the decision continues improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device. News and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News. A reliable and relevant source, agview.net.
KLA leadership is expressing appreciation for Kansas Governor Laura Kelly's approval of funding for the second year of the Cattle Trace pilot project. The $250,000 is part of the fiscal year 2020 budget. These funds will be used to develop an animal traceability system designed to reduce the number of animals involved in any disease investigation and restore normal livestock commerce as soon as possible after an outbreak. State funding for Cattle Trace was supported by KLA through the legislative process and is to be combined with continued funding from private sources. The two-year project, currently in its first year, is testing an end-to-end disease traceability system beginning with cow-calf producers and ending at the processing plant. Cattle Trace will create an infrastructure to help manage a disease outbreak and may provide opportunities for the cattle industry to add value. The project will serve as a model to help guide development of a cost-effective national program that can work at the speed of commerce. The ability to trace cattle movement in the event of a disease outbreak has been made more apparent in recent years through foreign animal disease exercises in Kansas. Momentum for Cattle Trace was established when Kansas Livestock Association members approved policy at the 2017 convention in Wichita supporting a mandatory national animal identification system for disease traceability.
Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device. News and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News. A reliable and relevant source, agview.net.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, But how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
What does a brighter, more sustainable future look like in our cities and towns, and how do we get there? When New York needed an alternative fuel source to reduce carbon emissions, the city found what it needed in biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil.
Good morning, I'm Darren Van Vactor with Paragon Ag. Well, volatility is back in the grain markets. No more than a few weeks ago, we saw new lows on several of the major grain contracts. Now we have seen new contract highs in corn and the highest levels in months for wheat and beans. It feels good to see these levels again. Mother Nature continues to blast the Midwest with heavy rains and severe weather, bringing planting progress to just a little more than half of the normal pace for corn. Corn has reacted with some pop for the first time in a long time. After making the new contract December low, we rocketed into new high territory. Wheat has shown some life, but both it and beans seem to be more of a follower at this point to corn. Wheat conditions did pull back a bit from the previous reports, but still look good on average. There's still time for bean planting as well, yet they are still participating in the rally. The move in corn, coupled with the quieter trade news, has helped the beans gain some ground back. It's not the time to look back or forward. It's time to look at where we are now. When the market moves like this and we are experiencing the reason for it, we tend to get stuck. The market is giving us an opportunity, and there are multiple ways to take advantage. Whether you have sold too little or too much, behind on planting, or done. Give us a call here at Paragon Ag Advisors, 888-452-8751. I'm Darren Van Vactor. Be safe and have a great week.
Well, that's our show this week. Be social with us online, KansasAgReport.net. Like us on Facebook, Kansas Ag Report Television Show. Follow us on Twitter, Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
You don't have to be a farmer or rancher to become a Kansas Farm Bureau member. Anyone can join. As a member, you'll get discounts on things like hotels and entertainment, health and wellness services, cell phone plans, and more. You'll also strengthen the lives of your fellow Kansans and help build strong, prosperous communities through agriculture advocacy and education. Join us today. Visit kfb.org/join to learn more.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.